Good evening,
How's it,
everyone.
Charles?
Thank you. Baruch Hashem. How are you all?
I'm fine, thank God. How are you doing?
Baruch Hashem. How are you all? Is everyone safe? Is everyone doing
Yes.
well?
We're doing safe, thank you.
Baruch Hashem. Good to hear that. Any news, guys? What's news?
No news.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear
Yes,
that.
are
It's good.
you locked down already?
Les? Dr.
Yes,
Les?
yeah, we're in lockdown. It's quite a serious lockdown that
Yeah.
if you break it, you get like a massive fine. But there's some good news as well. There was a big shipment of Pfizer vaccine, and it's amazing. They say by the end of March, it's going to be, they say, like most of the population will be vaccinated, which is just unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's
I agree.
something incredible. I think they've now got over 2 million have already been vaccinated.
Sure.
It's the number one country in the world. And so they say 1.8 million Israelis to begin receiving second vaccine dose. And we're going to be getting ours next week.
Wonderful.
So it's amazing. So Rav, yeah, Israel's a place to be. It's incredible.
Unbelievable. Never mind incredible.
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable.
And I'll just quickly tell, if you've got a second, this case against Netanyahu?
Yes.
It wasn't even in writing when the police, and if you think, what did he do? It's having cigars and champagne and trying to influence people to write positively about him in two news outlets. That's the whole corruption trial. It's just unbelievable. And you're not talking about not millions and not billions, and it's just incredible. And now they found out that the Attorney General didn't even have it in writing when they started the investigation case against him. They just did it verbally. So the case is so weak, and
they're going to throw it out. They're going to throw it out, Les.
It's like total shikha. It's total shikha, and it's amazing. This person's he's the only one that stood up to Obama with the Iran deal, the only one. And and people and he's done so much with the peace treaties and now with this vaccine. Personally, he's done so much. And they want to get, who do they want to get in his place? It's just
there's nobody to take his place. There's nobody there to take his place. Unfortunately, and he's going to be voted in again. I'll tell you now.
Well, yeah, he really cares for the people, and he personally contacted the head of Pfizer and Bola, and he's contacted the head of Moderna, and he's there with the shipments, and it's just and they want to get rid of somebody who's doing so good for the country.
I know he's talking. That's who's he talking.
Natalia and that one. So the case is very weak.
Anyway, but I hope you're all well and just be safe. Kultiv.
Amen. Okay, let's start the שיעור, רבותיי.
Yeah.
בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. I would like, first of all, before I'm going to start, I'm going to mute everyone. But before I mute everyone, I'm going to say Mishiberach, special Mishiberach, and I would like everyone to answer Amen. It's for a sick person, okay? Mishiberach אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון, דוד ושלמה, והאימהות הקדושות, שרה, רחל, לאה, רבקה, שישלח רפואה שלמה לאביבה בתיה, בת שם תלה, בכל איבריה, בכל גידיה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, שהקדוש ברוך הוא יסיר מעליה כל מחלה, כל עין הרע וכל מרעין בישין, ובעזרת השם תהיה בריאה ושלמה בכל איבריה, בכל גידיה, אמן, כן יהי רצון.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to delegate the show to הרב אברהם חיים בן אליעזר יעקב, אסתר קדן בת קציה, מרדכי בן רחמה, אסתר בת משה הלוי, נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצלוח החיים. כמו כן, לרפואת ליאורה בת מרים, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, אביבה בתיה בת שינה קהילה, הרב אברהם בן מרימה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, חיה חפציבה בת שרה אימנו, דבורה בת אסתר, וגולדה איטור בת שולמית לאה, פליז גד, רפואה שלמה לכולם.
You say Gouda bat Yeshua, Rabbi Levy, my grand's Yotzat. Gouda bat Yeshua. Gouda bat Yeshua says my grand's Yotzat. Gouda bat Yeshua, my grand's Yotzat.
Okay, Golda.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, so Rabotai, the subject of the shiur today that I decided to make, it's a shiur I made it before, I made it 11 months ago, but it's never been recorded. The shiur never been recorded. Maybe some of you heard it, I don't know, but the shiur is, what the name of the shiur was, tattoo. And let's see, what do we know about tattoo? I add up a bit more than what I done last year, because since last year I've been asked another few more questions regarding that subject, funny enough. And let's see what is tattoo? Why are we not allowed to have tattoo? And Be'ezrat Hashem, that's going to be the subject of the shiur. Be'ezrat Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach, v'Hashem alenu berachamav yarviach. So the Torah tells us in Sefer Vayikra, in Parashat Kedoshim, in chapter 19, verse 28, the Torah tells us like this: "Uktovet ka'aka lo titnu bachem." The Torah tells us that we're not allowed to have a tattoo. We're not allowed to make a tattoo. And we'll see why not. So from here we learn that there is a negative command from the Torah that people are not allowed to do tattoo on their body. What is a tattoo? We have to understand what is tattoo. So Hazal explained that tattoo, it's a matter of fact injecting ink under the skin. And just to give you a bit of understanding, what is a tattoo? So I spoke to a guy that sells the equipment. He's an acquaintance of mine that sell them. He bring them to the country and he sell them to all the tattoo parlor. And he explained to me that each machine, that means each injection, have at least between 21 needles to 31 needles. And they inject ink underneath the skin between 2 to 3 millimeter under the skin. That's all. That's all what it's doing. And that ink go under the skin, and that's how tattoo become. So now we know what is tattoo. So we learn from here, the prohibition from the Torah to have a tattoo is to inject ink under the skin. Now we understand. But we have to understand, why is the Torah given that prohibition that we're not allowed, okay, to make a tattoo? With all fairness, there is some tattoo that it's a beautiful art. It's art. Some of them do a beautiful work. It's a beautiful artwork. So we have to understand why we as Jews not allowed, okay, to have a tattoo. Why are we prohibited from having a tattoo? So I'm going to start with the great eagle. The great eagle is the Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon. He born in the city of Cordova in Spain around 886 years ago. And he writes in Ilchot Avodah Zarah, okay, in chapter 12, Halacha Yud Aleph. Listen what he said. That the main reason that the Torah tells us that it's a negative command to have a tattoo, okay, why is it? Mishum bechukotehem lo telechu. I will explain. That means that we should not follow the goyim's law. That means the goyim usually do tattoo, and we shouldn't follow it. But what is the Ramban try to tell us? Why is it so important? Why is it so important that we shouldn't have tattoo? And what does mean mishum hukotem lo telehu? That means that we should not follow, okay, the law or the custom of the goyim. We have to understand why not. So the Shalah Kadosh was Rabbi Yeshua Levy Horowitz. He born in a city of Prague in the Czech Republic around 463 years ago. And he wrote the famous book, Shne Luchot HaBrit, the two Luchot HaBrit, the two arcs, the book of two arcs. And he explained what the Rambam said. The Rambam explained to us that the prohibition of doing tattoo is not to follow the custom of the Goyim. But what is it? What does it mean not to follow the custom of the Goyim? Because we see that many Goyim don't do tattoos. Not all of the Goyim do. So what it's mean, Mishum Hokotehem? Hokotehem, it means that they have a hukah. Hukah, it's like a custom that they have. And that's what we have to understand. That's the point that we have to focus. So come the Shalah Kadosh and explain like this. What the great Rambam, the great eagle, explained to us, Mishum Hokotehem lo telechu, it's come to explain like this. When the Goyim saw that Bnei Israel got the positive command to do Brit Milah, it's the circumcision, they decide that they also want to do something towards the idols. But Brit Milah they couldn't do. Why? Because the Jewish people already received that positive command, so they couldn't do it. So what should they do? That they decide, the Goyim decide in that time, the idol worshippers decide what they'll do. They'll do a tattoo, okay, in their body. And that's going to be something that they're going to connect to the idols. Like we connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, our covenant with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what is it? It's Brit Milah, doing circumcision in English. They wanted to do something also towards their idols. What they decide to do, they decide to take the tattoo, and that's going to be their covenant with their idols. So come the Shalah Kadosh and explain. And he said, that's what the Rambam said. The main prohibition that we're not allowed to do tattoo. You know why? Because they pagan in those days, the idol worshippers decide to take this kind of the idea that called tattoo, and they're going to do it in a sake for the idols. And that's the main reason that we're not allowed to do tattoo, explain the Shalah Kadosh. Rabbi Haim ben Attar, born in the city of Sali in Morocco around 325 years ago. And he explained, you know why we're not allowed to do tattoo? He explained it more on a mystical level. And he explained like this. He said a person that do tattoo on his body, that actually harm, I'll say it in Hebrew and then I'll translate it. Pogea b'pnimiyut ha'adam. What does it mean, pnimiyut ha'adam? It's the personality, that means the spiritual personality of a human being, of a Jewish person. By that the person do that too, it's actually affecting his personality, that means more on a scope of the holiness of the body and the holiness of the mind. That means by that you do tattoo, it's actually damaging your spirituality. And we don't even feel it. So we see from here two reasons why we're not allowed to do it. I'm going to move now to what Rabbi Aaron Levy said. Rabbi Aaron Levy, born in the city of Gorondia in Spain around 786 years ago. And he wrote the famous book, Sefer HaChinuch, in mitzvah number Resh Nun Gimel. Resh Nun Gimel means 253. Mitzvah number 253, he explained that, I'll read it in Hebrew and then I'll translate it. Sheisur ktivat ktovet ka'aka noeg bechol yehudi. That means the prohibition of writing tattoo or making tattoo, okay? It's applicable to every Jew. Ben zachar ben nekeva. It's applicable to the male and to the female. Vebechol makom baguf, in every place on the body. Remember that, every place on the body. I will get to it, and you'll see that there is a lot of discussion in every place on the body. Okay, so from here we see, why are we not allowed to do a tattoo? That would lead us now to a second part of the show, that I've been asked a number of times by member of the community, people that know me, and they ask like this: are we allowed to do a tattoo from henna? Henna, it's actually, what do we call it, natural paint, if you want to call it, that you mix it. It's a powder that you mix it with water, and you actually draw it in your hand, and you can make beautiful artwork. You draw it on your hand or any part of the body, you're not injecting it. Are you allowed to do it? And it can stay for a few months. It can stay some of that artwork can stay even for up to 6 months if you really look after it, but it can last for at least 3 to 4 months. And I've been asked that question, and Hazal already answered it a long time ago. So because number one, it's a natural paint, and the paint, number one, doesn't get under the skin. Although that is stay on top of the skin, and there is beautiful artwork, okay, you're allowed to do it. There's no problem with that. Why? Because after all, it get disappear after 6 months, maximum, or 4 months. Number two, you're not injecting it under the skin. There is some of the people in Israel, they custom that when they get engaged, they mix that kind of a powder and they put it on the hand of the hatan, the hand of the kala. They call it henna. That's the custom, and obviously that's allowed. The second question that will lead us is, are we allowed to write on top of our skin with pain or with anything? People sometimes want to write a number, they write it on they don't remember, they write it on the hand or on top of the arm, whatever. But that there is no prohibition. Now we're going to jump to another question. There is certain stickers that they look exactly like tattoo. When you look at them, if you're not a professional, you can't tell that they're not tattoo. And when you stick it, you can stick it on your arm, your shoulder, your body, wherever you want to stick it. Those stickers, because they're done so professionally, they look exactly like a tattoo. And they stick and they can stay up to 4 months, some people told me. Is that there is a prohibition doing it? Again, there is no prohibition with doing it because it doesn't inject under the skin. So from here we see that all the prohibition it become when you inject the ink under the skin. That's what we're not allowed to do. Now we're going to get to the last part of our show, and that's going to take a long time. Are we allowed, okay, to erase, to remove a tattoo? There is as a mitzvah to erase tattoo. For example, I've been asked a number of times by people that have tattoo, Rabbi, I'm obligated to remove my tattoo. So minadin, listen to that. There is no obligation to remove tattoo, only if you have a tattoo that represent avodah zarah and etc. Thing that represent avodah zarah, has v'shalom, that you have to remove. But other than that, there is, from the din, there is not. For example, if you take the people that been on the Holocaust, those years of terror, and the number that they put on their head, I think that it was a shaila, and many poskim, should they remove it or not? Some of the poskim say, obviously, they're not obligated. Other people say, are we obligated? Some people say, no, don't remove the number. And you know why? To remember what the Nazis done to us. That's going to be a memory to remember and to show the world, to publicize to the world what the Nazis done to the Jewish people. And some of the poskim say that you rather leave it. There's no obligation to remove it. So we answered that question. But now we're going to come to a different part. There's a question among the poskim. First of all, let me introduce it like this. A person that engrave the holy name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one of the 7 holy names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is he allowed to erase it, to remove it? That's the question that many of the poskim say. For example, there is certain people that engrave on the body or done a tattoo with the holy name Yud-K Vav-K, Shem Adnut. And I saw a number of them. It's not so simple to see that name. I saw it even one day. I was at one of my customers and I was sitting, and a lady walked in, and she's a sell lady, and I was sitting speaking to the manager and buying and whatever. And she walked into the office, and I see on the arm here, right here underneath the hand, Yud-K Vav-K. And you know, as a rabbi, I'm looking and I wanted to say, are you Jewish? Are you not Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you not Jewish? And because the manager is a Jewish guy, was not observant or whatever. And I was in a shop and I wanted to ask, and you know, I couldn't keep it in the end. And I said to her, you will excuse me, I don't mean to offend you, but tell me, are you Jewish? She said, no. When she said to me, no, I was stunned. So I asked her, tell me, you know what you written underneath here on your arm? She said, yes, it's one of the holy name. I was stunned. I said, how do you know it? He said, no, it's well known and blah, blah, blah. I didn't say nothing, and with that I left it. So anyway, I saw it a number of times with people that have it. And let's understand what's the wrong with that. So first of all, the Maran Shulchan Aruch, Rabbi Yosef Karo, as I explained, born in Toledo, in the city of Toledo in Spain. He born 536 years ago. In the Shulchan Aruch, in Siman Resh Ayin Vav is 276, Seif Tet is verse 9. He said like this, Hazal written, that we're not allowed to erase one of the 7 holy names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. These 7 holy names that we're not allowed to erase it. That's what the Maran Shulchan Aruch write. So from here we learn that person that wrote the holy name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a problem to erase it if he done a tattoo with that. And now I'm going to get to it. You remember I mentioned all the body and any part of the body, and that's going to be the main subject. You just have to be a bit patient and you'll understand. That means that number one, we have a prohibition to do tattoo, especially if they wrote or inject or done a tattoo with the holy name. But there is a problem here. Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, in 120 folio 2, listen to that, what did it tell us? That all the prohibition to erase the name of the Almighty, they tell us the name of the Almighty shouldn't be in a place that there is tinofet. What it means tinofet? Place that can be desecrated. For example, a person that have the holy name and he walk to the toilet. Why? Because the toilet consider makom metunaf. What it means makom metunaf? An unhygienic, unclean place. Or a person that go, for example, and having a shower or going to the mikveh. That's considered as a place that's unhygienic, unclean, and it's considered makom metunaf. Metunaf, if you want to the proper explanation, a dirty place. It's unclean. So we see from here that we have 2 prohibitions. Number 1 is the Shulchan Aruch. Number 2 is the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat in page 120, folio 2. So what the person should do? So this question already been answered, Rabotai, around close to 660 years ago. Beshut HaTashbetz. HaTashbetz, there is 2 Tashbetz. The Tashbetz that I'm speaking is Rabbi Shimon ben Shema. He born in Palma de Mallorca, the city of Palma de Mallorca in Spain. He born around 660 years ago. And there is a shoot. Atashbet, it means she'elot v'tshuvot. What it means she'elot v'tshuvot? He been asking question and he wrote the answer and he given it to people. So in his book that called Shut Atashbet in Halek Aleph, volume 1, Okay, page 180, no, 177, okay, and also the Samak, the Sefer Mitzvot Katan, that's been written by Rabbi Yitzhak Mikobil. Rabbi Yitzhak Mikobil, born in France around 441 years ago, okay? And in Besefer HaSamak, I think Kuf Samech is 160, okay? There they bring like this. Listen what they say. Shem Kadosh Sheketavo Goy, that means a holy name that been written by a Gentile, okay? Okay? He wrote the name of the Almighty, a Gentile, okay? Omer, Matay Asur Lemochko, when are you not allowed to erase the holy name? They explain. When they wrote the name of the Almighty not for the sake of holiness. What it means for the sake of holiness? The Sofre Stam, what it means Stam? Stam, it means Sifrei Torah, Mezuzot, Vetfilin. Okay, that's Stam. What does it mean? That when a Sofer writes a Mezuzah, for example, he writes Tefillin, he writes a Sefer Torah, he have to say Leshem Kedushat Sefer Torah if he write, Leshem Kedushat Tefillin, Leshem Kedushat Mezuzah. So before he write it, he have to say for the sake of the mezuzah or for the sake of the Sefer Torah. And when he write the holy names, okay, there is some of the Kabbalistic rabbi, the mystical rabbi, that said that every time you should go to the mikvah. You should go to the mikvah, dunk, and then you write the holy name. Okay. So come the Tashbetz, come the Samag, okay, and I see that also Hagaot Ma'amoniot in Perek Vav B'Ilchot Yisodei HaTorah, and he bring it in the name of the Re'em. Re'em is Rabbi Eliyahu Mizrahi. Rabbi Eliyahu Mizrahi, okay, that was before them. They're all bringing the halacha. That means that if a Gentile wrote the name of the Almighty not for the sake of holiness, or because he's a Gentile, he obviously doesn't write it for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or the sake of holiness, you're allowed to raise it. So from here we see that most of the poskim, number one, the Rishonim, sorry, before that is the Gemara, the Rishonim, the Aharonim, and the poskim today and nowadays explain that a holy name that been written, and not for the sake of heaven, you're allowed to raise it. Number two, they're bringing another explanation. If that name going to be desecrated, you're allowed to erase it. So we see two reasons why you're allowed to erase it. Now, where does it come? I tell you three stories that happen, and you'll understand. The first story happened with Rav Mordechai Eliyahu Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha. A young lady, she wasn't so young, she wasn't so old either. She didn't find herself, and she gone to someone, and someone told her, some Mishuga, really, I don't know how people go to those Mishugayim, and he told her to do a tattoo with the holy name, Yudke Vavke, Shem Adnut, Shem Havaya, to engrave on her body that. And she have the holy name. And with that, she come to Rav Mordechai Eliyahu because she have it on the body and she become Hozer B'tshuva, and it's not nice that she have it, and it was different question. And the same question, similar question, been asked, although to Rav Meir Eliyahu. Rav Meir Eliyahu is a young rabbi, not so young, he's in his 40, but he's a great Talmid Chacham, great posek and Talmid Chacham. 40, 50s, I'm not sure exactly the age. And he bring a different story. While he was a rabbi in America, he been got to a case, listen to that one day a guy walked to his shul. And he saw him walking into the shul with a yami. He didn't look like observant. He actually looked more like a hippie, more like a Rastaman. And he asked, who's the rabbi? And the rabbi said to him, you can talk to me. And he said to him, listen, are you the rabbi? He said, yes. He said, I need to talk to you privately. He said, yeah, talk. No, we can't talk inside the shul. He said, okay, so we'll go outside. No, we can't go outside. He said, so where do you want to talk? He said, look, we can talk here, but we need to go to the toilet. It sounds very suspicious. So the rabbi said to him, what is it about? He explained to him that he was with his friends, he traveled in the Far East, and he got drunk. And while he got drunk, when he was in India, that's the Far East, his friends took him to a tattoo parlor, he didn't even know. And lo aleinu, the stupidity of people, that they engrave on his back side, the backside, the holy name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He said, I can't believe it. He said, how did you done it? He said, I was so drunk, I didn't even know what they're doing to me. So they wrote the Shem Havaya on the backside. A goy. What should I do? So we have two questions that become to it. One is Arav Mordechai Eliyahu, and one is Arav Meir Eliyahu. By the way, they're not connected at all. So Arav Mordechai Eliyahu passed on to that woman, if I'm not mistaken, that she allowed to erase it. Why? Because she has Rabbi Tshuva and she want to get married with a religious person. And if a religious person will see that, he will definitely not going to marry her. So he given her permission to remove it because it's didn't done for the sake of heaven. And number two, it's because there is when she go to the shower, when she go to the toilet, she can desecrate the holy name. The same thing happened with that guy, the American guy, it was Israeli guy that lived in America, that he was a Rasta man that gone somehow to India with his friend, and he wrote. What was the problem here? Here, you have a problem, number one, that he desecrate the name of the Almighty. Number two, he find a nice girl from a good mishpacha, nice family. And if she found out that he have a tattoo like this on his body, she'll never marry him. What to do? So if we take all what we learn, number one, what the Shuta Tashbetz bring, what the Gemarot bringing, and what we're learning, we see that you can erase the holy name. Why? Because number one, that tattoo never been done for the sake of holiness, number one. Number two, if there is any desecration to the holy name, you're allowed to erase it. Why? Because we're not allowed, as the Gemara say in Masechet Barachot, Kuf Kaf, Amud Bet, that means 120, folio 2, that we know that the name of the Almighty must never be במקום מטונף. What it means במקומות מטונפים? That means not in a toilet, לא עלינו, not in a public place that it's dirty, or in a shower, and etc. So we learn from here that in that case we're allowed to raise it, because these two help us to why we allowed to erase the name. In Shut Hatam Sofer. Hatam Sofer is Rabbi Moshe Sofer, that he born in the city of Frankfurt, as you all know. I mentioned him a lot, in Germany, around 258 years ago. And Shut is She'elot V'Tshuvot. He been asked, that means he been asked close to 250 years ago. He been asked a shaila like this. It was a student in a school. The teacher, he wanted to annoy the teacher. I think that they have a bit of a clash, him and the teacher, at one of the yeshivot. It was in a yeshiva. And that student, to annoy his rabbi, what has he done? He gone to the toilet and he wrote on the wall the name of the Almighty, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And the Hatam Sofer been asked, what should I do? Because we can't erase it. But if we take what we say, we can erase it, because it's Mekom Metunaf. It's a dirty, faulty place. And he said that you can. Listen what the Hatam Sofer said. The Hatam Sofer say, instead of erase it, let's do something else. Look how he come. What did he say? He said, rather take towel glue, towel adhesive, put on a wall or cement, and then stick on top of it Ariah. Ariah has a towel. That means that you didn't erase the name, you just cover it. You cover it, okay? And there is no desecrate to that holy name. That's how we paskin. From here, we get to a different thing. Is those people that have a tattoo with the holy name, can, if they take a skin of the body, can they put it over and cover it? If they do a surgical, plastic surgical operation? So Hazal explained that it's not necessary. Not necessary at all, because if it's desecrate, number one, and number two, it's been written by a Gentile, it's not written for the sake of Kedusha, you're allowed. And as I mentioned earlier, I have an acquaintance that he sells those equipment. And he explained to me that today, a matter of fact, you don't have to remove it by laser. And that's a question that I asked because I spoke to him. And he explained to me like this: if a person have a tattoo, you know how they remove it today? Today, the technology is so sophisticated that they have a different idea. What have they done today for those people that want to remove tattoo? He said that they look at the color of the body and they mix ink that's the same color of the body, and they go over the tattoo, they're injecting it, and you can't see the tattoo. That means the tattoo exists. It's just that they put on it ink on the same color of the body, and it's like disappear, but it's not disappear. So I said to him, listen, you said that you're injecting tattoo. He said, yes. I said to him, but whoa, you injecting tattoo again, that's the prohibition from the Torah. That it's a different ink, that it's a different ink, it doesn't mean that you're injecting ink. So in a case that it's normal tattoo that we don't have to remove and people want to remove, it's a different story. You can't do that. But if it's come for the sake of the Almighty, what have you done? You just cover it. That we can't see it, it doesn't mean that it's not there. So it's a different question. I would like to end up with something that I've been asked personally, and listen to that question. While I was giving the shiur, a youngster that was in the shiur approached me. And he said to me, Rabbi, I want to do a tattoo. I said, but you listen to the shiur. He said, yes, I listen to the shiur and I'm very impressed. But I tell you what, I've done a bit of research about tattoo. Listen how clever he is, as a Jewish boy. And I know if I do tattoo on my feet, it will disappear after maximum 6 months, 8 months. I say, yes. So I said, but what do you want to do a tattoo on your feet? No one see it. He said, I love the feeling to feel that pain. First of all, I was shocked. I mean, I didn't say anything because, what can I say? It's a young man. I said to him, so I tried to convince him not. When I see that he's not interesting, I said, now I have to give it to him. So I said to him, you know what, with all fairness, let's look what we learned today. You say that it's going to disappear. He said, yes. I said, but the prohibition is, number one, it's not just he stayed there. We explained that Rabbi Levy said that every Jewish person, male or female, not allowed to do tattoo in any part of the body, any part, number one. Number two, what are you doing? You're injecting ink under the skin. The prohibition of not, that we're not allowed to do tattoo is not to be like what the pagan do, the idol worshippers, because all of that, it's idol worshipping. And number three, I explained to him, what about the pnimiyut adam? What it means pnimiyut adam? That means that soul that you have inside you gonna get damaged when you do tattoo. What happened after that, I really don't know. Sometimes I see his father. I'm actually frightened to ask his father. I rather don't ask. But what I'm trying to tell you, from here you learn that these people that love this pain, many people said to me, I love the pain of the tattoo. Baruch Hashem, I never have a tattoo. and I never felt the pain. But these people, some people mishugayim, they love to feel pain. Okay, so let them feel different pain. You know, they can go to the boxing ring and they can get punches. No, but some people love that. So I hope that now that we spoke a bit about tattoo, we understand why there is a prohibition that we're not allowed to have tattoo. That if you do it like this guy, I explained to him, he said to me, after I work on it for a while, between 6 months to a year maximum, that ink gonna disappear. That means that tattoo. I said to him, but it's not just it disappearing. What about your idea? What about the idea that it's you worshiping idol? Number two, you damaging your soul, the pnimiut of the Adam, the inside of the human being. That means the mystical, all the mystical that we have to understand. What happened, Ani Baruch Hashem, not Baruch Hashem, I hope that he didn't done it, but I don't know. But today we learn a little bit about tattoo, why we're not allowed, if people will ask you. So number one, remember that what the Rambam say and the Shalah Kadosh, B'chukoteim lo telechu, that means that they took on themselves one idea that they're going to be part of the idols. What is it? Tattoo, because they couldn't do Brit Milah. The other thing that they took on themselves, and that's that they inject the ink under the body, that's for the sake of Avodah Zarah. The other idea that brought by the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, that on a mystical level, it's damage the spirituality of a human being. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will merit us to God and to be God, and will only merit to do the good thing in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day. Amen ken yeh ratzon. And build Beit HaMikdash. Now, if anyone want to ask question or to comment, please open the microphone and I'll try to answer if I can.
Rob, can I tell you something quite interesting? While I was listening to your shir, I just want to show you and maybe to the viewers. So here is a stamp. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. It's a South African stamp, which has got Hashem's name in. It's got Hashem's name, Yud K Vav K.
Yeah.
And when they published it, they issued it, the Beis Din, you can be very proud of our Beis Din, they told the postal authorities you can't issue it because it's got God's name and it's going to be desecrated. So the postal authorities, they actually withdrew the stamp. It's unbelievable. It was in 1987. It cost them millions. And they I'm going to take it out of the plastic. They withdrew the stamp, and it was never issued. So a few actually got through. A few actually managed to get through the. Like I've got one. This is the original one over here. So this is the actual stamp from South Africa that was never ever issued. But a few managed to find its way. But they listened to the Rabbonim, and they withdrew the stamp from South Africa because they didn't want to have it desecrated.
Wow. You know where was this? That on the envelope, because people will open the envelope
or they'll throw it away, or so it really had Hashem's name there, Devar Hashem with Yud Kei Vav Kei. But that shows you with what covered they had for the Rabbonim here. It was unbelievable.
Hashem, Baruch Hashem.
And the Jewish community.
We respect ourselves, like you're saying. The Goyim will respect us. We are the light. We are the light to the nation. Shakoah. Well done. I didn't know about it. Thanks for opening our eyes. I don't think that many people knew about that stem. Shakoah. Dr. Lev. Wow. Amazing.
I agree.
Any other question, Rabota, regarding tattoos? I'm sure that some of you heard that shiur. If not, any question regarding tattoos? No question.
Yes, Rabbi.
Yes, who asking?
That's Adam. Hi.
Adam, how's it? Erev Tov. How are you?
Thank God.
How are you?
Thank you.
Good.
What about Maritime?
What about it? What's your question? I want to understand it better.
So
I'll tell you what.
we said,
I said to you, what about it? I'll explain to you now. Yes.
So we said that some sort of tattoos are allowed, like the henna one, and if it's not done, if it doesn't go underneath the skin, is it right?
Yes, but it's not tattoo. The henna is not tattoo. I explained, henna is not tattoo. Henna, it's more like
Picture.
an artwork. It's an artwork.
Right,
You can see immediately that it's not tattoo. Yeah. Or
But
like
it's
stickers
no-
you ask and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, correct. In other words, if it's halachically permitted, but people will think, that Jews or from Jews are doing tattoos.
נכון, נכון, נכון. So if you're looking for מראית עין, לכתחילה, who's doing those things? People that are not frum. People that are not frum will go towards putting stickers, putting all of that. Hina, as I explained, there is certain custom of certain idot, okay, that what they do is when they get engaged or the night before they're married, and the night of the engagement, they put a little bit of a mark here or on the little finger. You know what I'm saying? It just to show that it's henna. That's a custom.
Yeah.
So that everyone know that it's not a tattoo, and all the artwork, the beautiful artwork, I know because I saw it, that there's certain people that do artwork with henna. It's actually amazing. They actually use a stencil, and it's beautiful. But people immediately know that it's not a tattoo. So I don't think that will be any maraית ein, because the people that will put the sticker and people that put the tattoo, they're not really observant, because people that observant will never do that. A person that he go to shul every day, you think he'll do that? But why did I ask maraית ein? What did I ask you, maraית ein? And I was thinking that that's what you're going to ask me. That, do you know where is it come? It was a big story about a Hozer B'tshuva. I'll tell you the story. And I heard this story. And when he became Hozer B'tshuva, in his back, he have a big tattoo. And people that Hozrim B'tshuva usually go to the mikveh. Why? Because the mikveh help you to purify the soul. It's very important. So now that there's no mikveh, if people will ask for a man, only for men, I'm saying it for men, not for women. Men doesn't obligate to go to the mikveh, but if they want extra purity, they can do it in the swimming pool. Only men. Women have to go to proper mikveh. I repeat, women have to go to proper mikveh. But a male that want to draw on more and more purity, he can go to the swimming pool. So what happened? The story go like this. It was a Hozer B'tshuva, a young man, that have a tattoo on his back and in his shoulder. And he gone to the mikveh. And in the mikveh, usually who go to the mikveh? Religious people, And he was very embarrassed. He waited for everyone to leave. And was there an old man. And when he saw that there's no one there except the old man, he took immediately his clothes and he gone to the mikveh. He was on his way to go to Dunk, and people suddenly, another volume of people came. And his face was red. And the old man saw that. So the guy go into the mikveh and immediately gone up, he covered himself with a towel. And he saw that people looking at him, and he saw that young man getting embarrassed. The old man came to him and he said to him, "Young man, you have nothing to be embarrassed." And he put his arm in the front of him. I'll show it like this. And he said to him, "Look here what it say here. Can you see that number? I got it in Germany. And you have nothing to be embarrassed. What you done in the past, it's past. Now you're a new man." In the front of everyone, he said it a bit loud. So what I'm trying to tell you, למראית עין, there's many people do mistake. Unfortunately, some youngsters never got the right tools, the right information, and they do stupid things. And there is many kids that come from good house, and sometimes they try to rebel. It's very difficult. To be a religious man, it's not simple when you're young. When you're full of energy, you want to feel free, you want to do things. So you have to know how to handle that also. So why did I say maritime? Because here you see that there's certain people that get embarrassed. So he come to him and he said to him, I know for a person's story, I have a good friend, and I'm telling you a good friend, that done a small tattoo on his arm, and he's embarrassed to go to the mikvah. We used to go a lot to the mikvah. I mean, I used to go almost every Friday, if not at least twice a week. And when he used to come, I used to check that there's no people. And I used to make sure that he don't, and then quick, and he used to go. So I used to make sure that the door doesn't open. So what I'm trying to tell you, there's people that become Hozrim B'Tshuva, and they're embarrassed about what they done when they was young, but they didn't understand. They didn't done it for the sake of Avodah Zarah. They just done it because they was thinking it's beautiful. But what I'm trying to say, that's the Marit Ain that I'm talking. It's a very good question what you ask. Shukra, Adam. Well done. Shukra. Any other question?
So what do you do with the mace if a person's passed on with the tattoo? How's that work? How do they bury him, remember?
Sorry, who's speaking? Again?
Just give me how do you bury someone who's got a tattoo? Then how's that working? The cemetery now, if he's got the tattoo.
The cemetery, a person that
Cemetery,
passed
how do
away,
you bury one who's got a tattoo? How's it?
removed it. No, the halacha bin pasken that they don't have to remove the tattoo. Why they remove the tattoo? Only if there is avodah zarah. Only if there is avodah zarah. Again, I explained. So definitely you have to remove it. That's lehatchila the post. That he put a person. Let's say that he put just let he put a butterfly. I'm not throwing something, I don't know, butterfly or a heart, whatever. This is not avodah zarah. It doesn't represent any avodah zarah. The problem is if he done avodah zarah, something that represents avodah zarah, then the poskim say that then definitely you have to remove, because it's avodah zarah, it's all the worship. But here, let's say that he put a heart, or he wrote the name of his girlfriend. Never mind that he left her. He left her after 6 months. He left her, and the name left, and now he's going with another woman. He's going to marry another woman. Now his wife, the new wife, going to see the name of the old girlfriend. You understand? But you're allowed to move. No, this is that the poskim ask if they're allowed. Yes, you're allowed. But here you're asking me if that deceased have a tattoo. Is he okay to remove it? No, as long as it doesn't desecrate or doesn't have anything of avodah zarah. Any other question? Well done, Shukra. Any other question, Rabotai? No. Okay. So Be'ezrat Hashem, Rabotai, I hope to see you Be'ezrat Hashem next Thursday night. Again, I would like to take the opportunity, Rabotai, I just want you again to answer Amen again, that will be a refuah shlema to Aviva, Batya, Bat Sheina Keila, בכל איבריה, בכל גידיה, ויסיר השם מעליה כל צרה וצוקה, וישלח לה רפואה שלמה, אמן, כן יהי רצון.
Amen.
Rob, thank you for the show.
I hope that you enjoyed it, guys. And
Shkoyach, Rav. Shkoyach.
Yeah, thank you, Rolf. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Good week.
Shkoyach.
Good week, Rob.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the evening. Keep safe. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.